Rev up your engines!
Dreamcatcher says, Scotty, I got a 2021 Ford Ranger. I always turn off the start-stop feature. Doing this regularly cause any issues? Yeah, it causes an issue that your engine will last longer. It's a smart thing to do. Start-stop technology is the dumbest thing that's come out in a long time. And when you get better gas mileage and you're not polluting it, blah, 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 right? Every time you start your car, 90-something% of your wear is when you start the car. So do you want to keep starting and stopping it? Not if you want your car to last a long time. Now, of course, the manufacturers are all for this because the government gives them kudos. They get higher gas mileage ratings. Oh, you're saving the planet. No, you're not. It's planned obsolescence. The engine will wear out faster. Then they'll sell you another car. So, of course, they love it. They don't want the cars to last forever. And it's not like that's going to break your car in 5 minutes. It takes tens and tens of thousands of miles for it to start to wear your engine. But it will wear your engine. You're doing the best thing you possibly can. Turn the stupid thing off every time you start the car so it doesn't do it. Lisa Lindbergh says, Scotty, please explain cylinder deactivation pros, cons. Okay, computer systems now, they can shut off some of your cylinders to get better gas mileage. Say you got a V8 engine, they can shut off as many as, some of them, 6 of the 8. And so you get better gas mileage because 6 of them aren't getting fuel. So you think, oh, you get better gas mileage. You get less power, of course. The cons outweigh the pros 1,000 to 1 as far as I'm concerned because of engine thermodynamics. You got a normal engine. It's a V8 engine, even a V6 engine. The heat flows through the engine great because all cylinders are firing and getting hot. Well, it turns out, from engineers that I've talked to, the temperature differential in the metal for that makes the engines warp. Now, it's not like they look like you squashed them, but instead of being a perfect circle, they become more elliptical, right? And then they start burning oil. I have seen more Honda V6 engines with that cylinder deactivation that burn oil. And before they had that system, the Honda V6 has never burned oil if you change the oil regularly. So I think it's a very stupid idea. But then again, you know how that goes. You got to know they're planned obsolescence. The manufacturers can't be that stupid. They're probably saying, hey, great. Now this car's got 80,000 miles. It's burning oil. It's out of warranty. I'll sell them another car. Duff Svid said, Scotty, is it common for an 07 Accord V6 transmission to wear out if driven hard sometimes? Oh, yes, they are. See, here's the problem. Honda makes great engines. Phenomenal engines, right? But it turns out in that 07, the V6 engine is too strong for the transmission that was in it. So if you drive them hard, you will flat wear them out. That was one of the problems that Americans had up the wazoo when they decided, okay, we're going from rear-wheel drive cars to front-wheel drive cars. And when Americans started making front-wheel drive cars, big V8 engines, those transmissions just fell apart because you had a powerful engine and a crappy front-wheel drive transmission, and they always broke down. In terms of that Honda, those do break down a lot because they got too much power. The 4-cylinder engines didn't have quite as many problems because they had less power than the V6, and especially less torque. What really destroys an automatic transmission is the takeoff in first gear. So if you got a lot more torque with a V6 engine than a straight 4, you're going to wear out first gear a lot faster in a V6 than in a 4-cylinder engine. Snowy Blitz says, Scotty, I'm looking to get a 10th generation Honda Civic when I start college. What year model is best between 2016 and 2021? From my experience, 2016, Honda quality's been going down the last decade or so. I don't know what it is, but I see more problems with Hondas than I really used to. Now, I don't know how you drive. If you're one of the few Americans, like the 4%, that can drive a manual transmission, you get a Honda Civic with a manual, that sucker's going to last forever. The only weak point of those were if you drive them hard, the trannies could wear out. I've seen people wear the transmissions out on them if they drive them real hard. So if you can drive a manual, and it's real easy to learn if you don't know how, it's real easy to figure out. You can buy one of those. Hey, they're pretty much bulletproof. Mike Magic 71 says, what's the best car you ever had? Well, best is a relative word, right? The one that was the most fun to drive, that was a Shelby Cobra GT500 that I had. It was 2013. It was so fast. I only had it for a week. Because if I had it more than that, I probably wouldn't be here today. Now, if you're talking about best in terms of it gets you where you're going, it's fun to drive, gets good gas mileage, it's the car we have now, 2007 Toyota Matrix, 37 miles a gallon on the highway. Just runs, zippy to drive, never breaks down. Insurance is dirt cheap. I pay $320 a year insurance on the thing. To me, that is the best car that I ever bought in terms of getting you where you're going, never breaks down. I can fit 2 folding bicycles in the back, so my wife and I can go bicycling anywhere on the planet. We just drive there and then unfold the bikes and drive away. So I got to say, that's the best as far as I'm concerned. Well, finally, Ford's 1.0 liter EcoBoost engine, which people call them self-clogging, is being recalled by the government. Now, these stupid little turbocharged 1 liter engine, 1 liter is very small. These stupid oil pumps, they have them running on a rubber belt. And Ford says the rubber belt assembly that runs the oil pump isn't even supposed to be serviced until 150,000 miles. But they've been breaking at 50,000 miles, 60,000 miles. Obviously, another stupid design by Ford to save money. They used to run off of gears. Look at your own history of driving cars. Did you ever have an oil pump failure? I never did. I change the oil regularly, and all of my cars have oil pumps that are driven by metal gears, people, and they work quite well. And some have metal chains, which also work pretty good. A little cheaper than a gear, but it still works. But Ford decided, let's go really cheap and run them with rubber belts. Now they're breaking. Another brilliant idea by Ford, but at least now it's being recalled. So if you own one of these 1 liter EcoBoost, check in the mail. They're recalling those babies. The thing that's kind of wonkos is, they inspect them, and if yours is bad, blah, 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 blah. What they really should do is force them to redesign the engine because it's a bad design, obviously. And the problem with a lot of these recalls is if they do a recall, say they put a new belt and tensioner on, right? They generally don't give you a long warranty on that. They say, well, you already got it fixed under warranty, so now it's your problem. I've seen it happen with so many of my own customers. They'll go in for a recall and they fix it, but then later that same thing breaks again because, of course, they're just replacing it with the same crappy design that they had in the first place. But then they say, well, you had it fixed under warranty, so we're not going to fix it again. Don't buy these crappy Ford products, and you won't be in the pickle that these people are. 812 says, Scotty, is an AMC Javelin a good car? They were weird cars. AMC, they made a certain amount of funky cars. And when the Javelins first came out, they sold a whole bunch of them, but then they couldn't barely give them away 3 years later for various reasons, because the anti-pollution equipment then back in the 70s they had to put in made them run like crap, and the quality control at the AMC wasn't that great. And then, of course, Chrysler bought AMC just to get the Jeep name, and they got rid of all the other ones. But now people are starting to collect those things. Now, if you can find a Javelin with a V8 engine, they're relatively rare, any of them left. They're not bad collector's items. They're kind of fun to ride around. Now, to me, they're very weird-looking cars. But if you like it, hey, you want a fun car to fiddle around with, you can still get them relatively cheap, and they might go up in value because people seem to be collecting them now. Omani Gamer says, 2015 Camry. Says to use 0W20. Can you use 5-weight 30? I live in the Middle East where weather's hot in the summer. The 0W20 is perfectly fine. It's made for that. If you go for the heavier 530, every time you start that car, you're going to wear the cam on the top. When they sit overnight, they're on the top of the engine. Oil, it's all dripped off them. They're dry. When you start the car, they start running dry. But if you have 020-weight oil instead of a thicker 530-weight oil, it pumps up faster and there's less time that any damage is done. So no, stick to what was in it. They worked perfectly fine. The engineers, in that case, know what they're doing. Tom Wanamaker says, Scotty, what's this drawing the Mac picture on your wall? I worked in Winsboro, South Carolina assembly many years. Oh, I just like putting automotive and truck type stuff on the back wall. Every once in a while, if you look closely, I have philosophical books that maybe you can read the titles on, maybe you can't. Mac used to make great trucks. I mean, everybody wanted them back in the day. I don't follow up with it today. I don't know what people think of them anymore. These companies keep buying one company, and another company buys them, and another company buys them, so I really don't know. But if you have something interesting that you think would go good there, feel free to send me one. And I'll stick it up on the wall if it fits in with anything that's automotive, motorcycles, trucks, whatever. Flash 21502 says, Scotty, I'm contemplating getting a compact 4x4 truck, but I'm an older fat guy. What do you think would be easiest for me to get in and out of? My son last year got himself a new Tacoma 4x4, and it's not bad to get in the way it is. And then I'm trying out these side steps, you know, that you can put on the side. Toyotas are already pre-drilled, and they got little caps in the holes. You take the caps out, and these kits fit right there with the bolts, and you just bolt it on. And when they have that little side step on there that you can step on that before you get in the truck, it's no problem at all. They're not that hard to get into anyways, but by adding those little side steps that bolt right in. We used to call them running boards. They're always calling themselves us, but you don't have to buy them that way from the dealership because they charge a fortune for that stuff. The aftermarket stuff is fine. It's made out of good steel and it's painted beautifully, you know, whatever car you want. And I'd say a Tacoma with that, you'd like that. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.